Looking to recover from an injury faster? Here are some tricks and tips that I've gathered from over 20 years of falling as an aggressive inline skater. Let's get into it. All right, if you're new to the channel, I'm Chef Blader, Mike Obedoza, and in aggressive inline skating, we fall a lot. It's part of the process. And in order to actually land the trick, you kind of have to learn how to fall first. And sometimes it just doesn't go right. So I've had every injury you can imagine. Road rash, humongous bruises, sprained wrists, dislocated bones, broken ankle. And so I've kind of have a lot of experience with injuries, and after several visits to doctors and just research off the internet, I've kind of came up with my own recovery game plan. These are some of the tricks and tips that I've kind of accumulating here to hopefully help you in your recovery process. That being said, first thing I do is assess the injury. If you have a bone that's sticking out of your skin, if you have a wound, if you have a cut that looks like it's talking and you can feed it popcorn while you guys are watching YouTube, you probably should go see a doctor. If it's a little bit milder than that, then you could use the tips I'm going to provide here to help you get through it. So there are two types of wounds. There's the ones where you damage your skin, and that's anywhere from a cut to a blister. And then there's anything with inflammation, swelling, and that could be from hitting something too hard, which causes a bruise. That could be a tear in the muscle. That could be a fracture in your bone. And by identifying which injury you have, you can start beginning the process on how to heal them. The first type of injury we're going to go over are damage to the skin. And that can be anything from a cut to road rash to a blister. And my recommendation is to pop your blisters. I know it sounds disgusting, but for whatever reason, when you just leave a blister to heal on its own without popping it, it leaves the ugliest scar, which feels like this cockroach that lives on your skin. And I don't recommend that. What I take is a nail cutter and I sanitize it with rubbing alcohol. And then I will clip a piece of the blister of the skin off to start draining it. After you clean off all the excess skin, you're gonna wanna treat it like a wound or a cut and make sure you sanitize it. So cold water and your type of soap. I like Dial over soft soap just because I wanna know I'm killing all the bacteria. And then if you have a high threshold of pain, I'd splash with some alcohol. I know it sounds crazy, but go find a room that's soundproof or just a place that's not gonna alarm your whoever you live with and or your neighbors, and just hit it with the splash and make as large of a yell as you need to deal with the pain. But the faster you'll be able to sanitize the wound, the faster it scabs and the faster you are going to heal. At this point, the bleeding should have stopped. So if it is still bleeding, I recommend putting gauze on it and or a Band-Aid. Once the bleeding has stopped, you can add some Neosporin plus pain relief. In my experience, scars that had Neosporin with it did heal faster without the Neosporin. Scab pickers. If you're a scab picker, shout out to you, but scabs help prevent a permanent scar. And if you've been in the game as long as I have, I'm trying to reduce the amount of scars that I have. There are so many that I have, and there's only so many tattoos you can get on your body to cover them up. So highly recommend keeping the scabs on. Second injury, anything that has to deal with swelling. And that can happen from a hard bump, a fracture in your bone, and or a rip in a muscle, sprain, something of that nature. Swelling is because of acute inflammation, and it's the body's way of sending white blood cells to an injury to help what would like a wound be, kind of clean out the bacteria and detox it. But that's not happening because you have no exposure of your skin. And what's happening is that it's kind of like traffic. It's sending too much blood into one location and it's actually kind of preventing it from actually healing. So you want to start icing that injury where it's beginning to swell and keep it above the heart. The heart is pumping blood throughout the body. If you keep it above the heart, you're actually preventing it from just pumping too much blood in there where gravity is gonna kind of help pump blood there. Hope that made sense. So what I'm saying is if you have an injury in your leg, in your knee or an ankle, you want to kick your feet up, probably put on a pillow, lay back. If you have injury in your wrist or your elbow, something on your arm, make a sling, and you kind of just keep it above your heart. Ice. There are the gel ice packs, and then there's those bags that you can buy at your local grocery store, and you can throw ice in there. The gel packs are cool. They tend to wear out after some usage. So like say what would be cold for 30 minutes will only last for 30 minutes. And if you have it for a year plus, it starts to degrade and will maybe only last 15 minutes. So if you want to ice something a lot longer, you want to use an ice bag. And you can use a Ziploc. I prefer the medical bags. The Ziplocs, if it punctures, next thing you know, you have water all over your couch when you're hanging out watching YouTube, or you can use the ice bags, a little bit more durable. And the only problem with those is just if you have to compete with any other people that live with you on ice for their drinks, just make sure that you have a steady flow of ice. I mean, a fight over ice for a cold drink, if cold drinks is what you do. If you haven't already, I like to baby my injuries. Baby, as what I'm trying to say is I like to put it in a brace or a compression sleeve just to help not agitate the injury even further. So like I'm holding my wrist like I have an injury, but if I have a sprained wrist, I will buy a wrist guard and keep it on. So the wrist guard is actually going to help in the movement and prevent me from moving it further than it needs to. Icy Hot and Tiger Balm. So I like to actually use Icy Hot upon the initial discovery of the injury. The Icy Hot has a silent way of telling me where the injury is at. It's crazy. I don't know how it works, but Icy Hot, when you apply it to the injury, it'll give it what it needs. So if I am to receive a very cold sensation, I know that it's still inflamed and that I need to continue adding ice. When it starts giving me a warm sensation, or I know that I'm at the next step of my recovery process, and I start to add heat pads and go through physical therapy for the injury. Massagers. I use massagers to help work out any type of kink in the muscle that may have created or to actually get blood flow in and out of the injury. I want it to detox. I want it to, anything that was scar tissue or anything in the injury, I want to get it out of there. And for say a bruise is technically a blood clot. And so I will go ahead and massage it immediately on the bruise lightly. Again, I'm using a massager where I can apply the amount of pressure that I feel comfortable with. And I want to get the blood I want to get the clot removed and dissipate the blood so that I can start using it again. The massagers I recommend, I really like a foam roller with the ridges, because I like to know that it's getting into the kinks of the muscle and getting it all out. I also have a back massager, Shiatsu. Put it on your couch or any type of seating, and it'll work out any shoulder muscle here that you might have gotten an injury from falling it on your arm. And I also like to use the little ball massager for depending on how small the injury is or whatever part I'm trying to work out. Again, use this at your discretion and your threshold of pain, because it can get kind of painful. But in the physical therapy mode, it also helps work out that kink, and it gets blood flowing to where it needs to, and I'm able to recover faster as well. Okay, also in the massage phase, I like to start applying heat. There's heat pads that you can get that plug in, they're electrical, those work the longest. Just make sure you time yourself on how long you want to start applying the heat pad. The gel packs that you get can also work as a cold gel pack or a hot gel pack. I like to dedicate one to either being cold or hot, and you just put it in the microwave and then it'll heat up. But again, those packs don't last that long. My other favorite heat pack were it looked like a sock where you add rice, and you can actually do that too. And put that in the microwave, pop it out, put it on your injury, and just make sure you're testing how much heat that the pack is radiating, because you can burn yourself. And then just leave it on, get blood flowing to that injury, start the healing process. Oh, while I'm chilling because I'm injured, I love to eat. I highly recommend anti-inflammatory diets. That's anything from a ton of omega-3 acids, which is found in fatty fish, extra virgin olive oil, broccoli. You've got antioxidants found in berries, blueberries, strawberries. That's the anti-inflammatory stuff. That's stuff that you start incorporating into your diet when you get the injury, when you have swelling. When you're in the physical therapy phase, in the heat phase, I started to increase protein to red meats and things of iron. My favorite thing to eat, I have this ritual for when I get injured. My favorite thing to eat is a wet burrito, because you get rice and beans. It's a natural protein, or it's a clean protein. Carne asada, and then that's your red meat with avocado, because then you get the omega-3 fatty acids you get from the avocado. Hella salsa, because tomato has a lot of lycopene, which is also great for you. And you know, it's just like the best filling thing, just knowing that my body is getting all the nutrients it needs to start rebuilding. When you're injured, also check your mental game, because injuries mess with you mentally, but not being able to like do what you normally do can be frustrating. But I've always looked at this as an opportunity to get smarter. And let me share with you how. What I'm trying to say is, have you ever tried to brush your teeth with the opposite hand that you normally brush? So this is my left hand, I'm right-handed. When you actually use limbs that are not common in your lifestyle, you're actually using a different part of the brain, which is increasing your sharpness. And it's actually making you smarter. So me being stubborn and wanting to skate all the time, if I had a sprained right ankle, and once I was able to put weight on it with maybe an ankle brace, I would go and do tricks with my left ankle, and it actually made me a better skater. So not only am I becoming a better skater, I'm also becoming way smarter and sharper because I'm using different parts of the brain. Injuries can be an opportunity if you choose for them to be an opportunity, and it's up to you. So I'd recommend cutting back on alcohol and cannabis. I know you don't want to hear that, but it actually prevents the body from rebuilding. What you can do also is just take the time to chill, watch some YouTube. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button, because you're not going to want to miss any more of the content here. If I haven't put you to sleep yet, I highly recommend you go to sleep after this. If you are injured, sleep is great for you because it will help relax your muscles and start beginning that rebuilding process. Just chill out, be patient. You'll be back on your skates in no time. I'm gonna leave a link below sharing all of the tools that I'd mentioned in this video. To be completely honest, I get paid, but if you found some value and want to support the channel, please click on the link in the description and get some stuff to help recover faster, and let's get back on your skates or whatever sport you play and start playing again. Thanks for watching.